Hey, welcome everyone. We are gathered this evening for the beautiful beginning of our Community Compassion Project. And what is the Community Compassion Project? It is a very simple local action. It is in coordination with a wonderful person, Dr. Mitch Abrams, and myself, Monica, the Healing Muse. So welcome, Dr. Mitch, and welcome to everyone that's joined us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Monica. Um, so I'm super excited to be here with Monica sharing this opportunity, this compassion project. It's so meaningful. And what we're going to share a little bit tonight is some of the science behind compassion.
I'll talk a little bit about myself. I am the Healing Muse, Monica Muehlman, and I've spent the last 25 years looking at plants and the earth and vibration and aromatherapy, essential oils, growing gardens, pretty much everything and anything to do with the earth and growing things and connections. I would like to present Dr. Mitch, and can you please tell us a bit about who you are?
And my background is in medicine. I am a specialist in diagnostic imaging, so radiology. And I'll share a little bit when I'm presenting some of the science, but a bit of my work is very much focused on the science of compassion. I did a program through Stanford University called the Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education. And I'm on a mission to add more compassion in healthcare,
I'll
in our
talk about the
communities.
most simple
And
basics. I had put together an experiment where I wanted to see what six flowers did with six different words and six different vases in my shop. I had an apothecary and I had a beautiful window space. So I put together vases. I said, and the sign in the window, just look at the word, say it to yourself out loud or quietly, and then say each word and move on. The experiment was very simple, easy. And I wanted people to engage with the window space. I wanted people to engage with my shop and the community. And I wanted to test to see if words do have power and see if there's any kind of semblance of certain words having one effect or another. So that is the summary of the
I'll
project.
just start off by I thought it was very
So,
interesting that Einstein said, don't let your brain interfere with your heart. And I think by the end of this brief conversation, we're going to have a little bit more context of what Einstein was meaning behind that. On my journey, I stumbled upon this program at Stanford University, the Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education. And it was all about how to apply the science of compassion. It turns out that when we are compassionate to ourselves, it affects every aspect of our being, our mental health, our physical health, our emotional health. When we practice compassion, our brains structurally change. And this is interesting because it's as if, we can actually conduct non-invasive neurosurgery on ourselves. The heart plays a pivotal role in compassion. Now, the heart actually is well more than just a pump. And when we feel compassion, when we truly, practice acts of self-compassion, the heart plays a very interesting role in that the rhythms become very, what we call orderly, very smooth. And this is called a state of heart coherence. Now, what's interesting about compassion is that they say that compassion is like a muscle. The more that we practice compassion, the easier it is and the more effective that result is in the body. And in fact, Dr. Sarah Lazar from Harvard showed that when you practice these acts of self-compassion and you cultivate, states of mindfulness, which is a form of compassion, it actually can restructure your brain. We know that compassion is contagious. We know that when people actually see an act of compassion or they hear a story of compassion, they are more likely to act in a compassionate way. They are more likely to think more compassionately about themselves and each other. If you're wondering, how does this work? Your heart is actually radiating a field of energy, a magnetic field. So your heart is literally radiating a field of energy, and your sense of compassion, that emotion, is a rhythm. It's a frequency of energy that's radiating out into the world, and other people's hearts are receiving that information. They can feel your compassion. When you think about compassion, I want you to now to think about your heart. Now, Dr. Masaru Emoto from Japan, he studied the effects of intention on water. And what they did was they actually had, petri dishes of water. They had groups of people talking to the water, different words. Once people spoke to that petri dish, they then would put it into a freezer. And at a certain point, they would look at the water just as it began to freeze. And they would look at it under a microscope, and they would look at the crystallization of the water. When the water was being spoken to in a positive term, like thank you or love and appreciation, the water crystals were beautiful. They were hexagonal, they were symmetric, like miniature snowflakes. When they were spoken to in a negative way, then the water crystal was very dysmorphic. It was not symmetrical. And Dr. Emoto's work, which actually has been replicated and verified in many ways, has been shown that, in fact, your intentions and thoughts can be recorded and demonstrated in water. Time and time again, we see these results. And so when I watched Monica's experiment, I just thought, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if we could help spread this exercise in our communities, in our schools, and really use it to bring about a meaningful conversation around compassion, the science of human connection. Now, we're not so much focusing on what the results are going to be. Yes, it will be nice. It'll be curiosity, wonderful to see the results. But again, the big objective here is let's start talking about the power of compassion. And I can tell you that, 5 years ago, not many people would really talk about this. It was considered too woo-woo, too far out there for people to really believe in. But at this point, it's different because the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to 3 gentlemen that experimentally proved that we are all part of a non-local entangled universe, which simply means that we are all interconnected. We're all connected by a quantum field. Our hearts are so powerful. So again, when you are in a state of compassion, you're creating a coherent field, this coherent energy, and you're feeding that energy into a field that we are all being influenced by.
Thank you, Dr. Mitch. We've come from a place where if we don't see it or we don't measure it, we do assume it doesn't exist. Until we go way, way back in time, a long, long time ago, when the ancient cultures did look to the stars and to the sun and to the earth and to the animals and to the plants for guidance, there's an in-between time where we thought if we can't measure it, it must not exist. And so this is where I'm going to bridge the gap between the science and the heartfelt connection to the earth and all that is. And the second concept I want to bring in is the whole global concept, so that a lot of times I hear people saying, oh, what can I do? I'm just one person. Forests talk to each other underground, chemically, biochemically. Trees talk from one end of the forest to the other. If there's a fire detected or if there's a change in the environment detected, a few thousand acres along, that information travels almost instantly through the bacteria underneath the forest floor to the other side and to all the other neighboring trees. So there's another huge global network that, okay, a tree could say, what can I do? I'm just one tree. But you're part of a coherent network, right? And so why not take it to the smallest level we can? A single flower that has been cut, that has been put in water. We've created our own environment, our own vessel, and we can explore to see what happens when we're in harmony or disharmony. So there is some meaning associated with love, war, anger, peace, joy, fear. As soon as we hear those words, we have a certain feeling, we have a certain experience inside. Now, I think what's happened over the years is that we've forgotten that we have that experience. You might not have noticed it, but your body, your ears, the processing happened. It happened in your nervous system, it happened in every cell in your body. And so this experiment is a very tiny, very local, small version of this experience. Another lesson in, hey, let's pay attention. Let's pay attention to this word. How do I feel when I say this word? Does the flower feel anything? Do I care? Do I not care? Right? So this project is all about recreating, remembering these connections that are always there. They're always there. Like Dr. Mitch said, the heart coherence, all you have to do is tune in. All you have to do is center a bit and say, hey, okay, I'm in my heart. Let's invite everyone we can think of that would like to play around with what words mean. What do they mean to us? What do they mean to the flower? Do they mean anything at all? Who knows? But let's invite everyone we can think of to set up. Now we have a different kind of dialogue to break bread over compassion or to share compassion with people with a common language.
I mean, who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea what's going to happen. But we're going to test it out and see. Stay tuned.
I think it was a successful experiment. Anger deservedly, but poorly. Love, fear, joy, anger, peace.
And that's how you do the water experiment.
The experiment's very small and simple. You need about 6 feet of space. Any counter, any shelf will do, ideally away from the sun because the sun will heat up the flowers, break them down, and require a lot more maintenance. So it might be a shorter experiment. There might still be differences, but who knows? At the beginning, you take one picture of the flower as it is, and then take a photo of all of the flowers together, and then take maybe 1 or 2 extra pictures of 2 or 3 flowers grouped together so that we can see the word and the flower itself. So ideally, you do a nice 10, 15 photos at the beginning, the first week of the experiment, and then take 2 or 3 photos of the setup and each flower every week, once a week. And I would love for you to participate and for anybody participating to share as you're going on. We can invite you to do a live on Instagram or even on YouTube and go through some of the results or developments as they're happening. I'm going to share my screen and with us, send us links to everything. And then there's hashtags we would like you to use. So all of that's posted here.
So everything that Monica is sharing is found in the landing page. And once you register, you'll receive an email with this information. So everything will be laid out. You'll have it on your screen. It's very simple for the setup. It's very easy to make the signs, the words for each plant, but we also have provided a Google Doc that you can access, you can print. So it's very simple. We have everything laid out. And if you are a business owner, then we also have provided a little sign that you can add to your window so that your customers walking by will have a QR code that they could use that will bring them back to the landing page. So it explains everything. Share your photos, share your videos, share conversations, either what you're having at home, what you may be having with your customers, what it's doing to your environment. And we're also, and I would just say for everybody who's listening today and whenever you are tuning in, our Instagram at Community Compassion Project 2025. Check it out on Instagram, follow and like, and we're going to begin the conversation of
Sharing
compassion.
and connecting to everyone.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Dr. Mitch.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining, taking your time. Thank you for tuning in.